See, it's a good team.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Episode 47, 8, 9. Who knows? Chart Talk. June 29th, coming at you. Ben, how we doing over there?
Good. Time to jump into the market outlook.
Let's jump right in, huh?
Yeah.
Market outlook. So, we had a really ugly week last week. We've been experiencing this major chop fest. We're kind of looking out for it where it's like, you know, when things look ugly, that's kind of been the time to buy. Then when things look good, it's been the time to sell. If you're holding on too long, you know, you're probably giving some P&L back. I know I had that problem last couple weeks. But today we had a great day. I was kind of, I wouldn't say bearish off the open, but I saw that gap up in the morning. I got short a few things, and I covered them as soon as we pivoted. We pivoted very hard. SPY right here. This 296 to 300 area is huge support. And then the real clue was the NASDAQ for me today. I pointed this out right in the chat right away. We were watching this pivot, watching for a pivot right here. This is the whole trend right here, and it gave us that pivot. We're still within that trend. It proved with that close today. So today, in my eyes, is going to end up being a buy the dip day just for the rest of the week. Like, I can't speak on anything further than that unless we get some crazy news. But that's what the action's kind of showing us. What are you thinking there, Bennett?
Yeah, I mean, I think we both kind of had a similar outlook going into the week.
Yeah, I read. You sound like the exact same.
Yeah, it's like if we break support, we're going lower. If we hold the support, we'll be back in this range.
Right.
And not to agree with the same thing, but there's two sectors that are setting up. If you want to pull up the chart, we got utilities, VPU, setting up through 124, very low risk add, and then we also have REITs, VNQ, up through 78 versus 76.
Actually, VNQ. I actually saw a lot of REITs setting up this weekend.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I like that. So, I mean, it's kind of day by day. It's like this fucking, sometimes the Corona news is the most important thing ever. Sometimes it's not. We're seeing, if you really follow the cases, we're seeing a little bit of a deceleration, which might have caused the pivot today when we saw the acceleration last week, and that might have caused a sell-off. Who's to say? But, I mean, that's one pattern we've seen. I'm so sick of it, but who's not at this point?
Very true.
Where are we going from here? We got some member charts?
So we're going to jump into real quick the winner. If you want to pull up that little screenshot.
I do. Cole, what up?
So we're sending out to Cole again. Since we're going to switch up this week, instead of doing a canvas, we're going to ship him out a book. It's going to be a little bit of a surprise for Cole as well as everyone else. So Cole, if you can just shoot us a DM of your address, and we'll get that book mailed out to you first thing tomorrow morning.
Let's read his lessons.
Yeah.
Don't cheat levels. Buy before the breakout. Good stuff. Macro breakouts require very loose stop loss. Gotta let that thing work. Kick stocks in thirds. Oh, that's my shit right there. Leave a runner position to catch the meat of the move. Love it. Don't look at smaller time frames after entering a trade. The information is insignificant and will make you emotional. Love that. And then steer clear of names in macro data trends, except XLNX. But yeah, good shit. Love it.
This is like the next little Tommy. He's only 15 years old. This guy's killing it.
I know. We gotta start grooming him.
Yeah. All right.
I'm not hearing Tommy enough. It's the summertime. I want to hear him in the charts.
He's on the golf course right now.
All right, respect it.
All right, so first up from every day, we got David Taylor looking at QCOM through 90.
Yep, I like this. And this is all of these setups are predicated on whether or not the NASDAQ is going to hold up today. And it held up, so this put in a hammer. So most of these tech stocks that you bought, most likely at support, they're probably looking good today. So this one looks good on the way up tomorrow, 89.90 area. Definitely like it.
Next we got Tyler Kenny looking at SWAV through that 40,
Soundwave?
that 47.
Shockwave.
Yeah, Shockwave.
Through what?
Through 47.
Through 47, is that what you said?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, this 46.50 area had the same exact high of day yesterday. So, I mean, if you're looking for that support buy, I'd say you just buy through 46.50 against either this 45 or, that 44 area is right. Honestly, just buy through 46.50 if that's the play you're going for, or wait to that 48.50.
Yeah.
Depends what you look for, but, yeah, it looks pretty good.
All right, next we have a question from Bobby Moore regarding the example for Twilio. And he mentioned like a 15-minute for today. He goes, if a stock rips up through resistance, then dies in the first candle, then later in the morning returns and bounces off previous resistance, would you be more open to adding through resistance or exit your position because it's more likely going to sell. This will be resistance to add.
That was a pretty nasty pull-in that Twilio had. You know, when something comes that hard at you, I'm not going to be very excited to add. I don't like adding on that first down move. You know, I like to see it have the vicious down move, and then it hit support, and then kind of have a controlled move higher where, you know, it looks nice technically. The move that Twilio had today, this massive red bar, I'm not trying to add on those type of bars. That shit is scary.
So hopefully, Bobby, that'll answer your question. Next, we got Alex Smith. He's looking at AAXN through 98.
Yep. He's got some alerts set here. I like this one a lot. So it's AAXN. They turned this previous resistance level into new support right here, and it's just been knocking on the door right here at 98. And if this can break through, it looks really good to move higher.
All right, let's see. Next, he's looking at ABC up through 101.
So I don't love it. I mean, I love this name long term, so it's hard to say I don't love it. But he's just going to give it to this 98 pivot, I guess. I mean, if it breaks that area higher and then it makes these new highs, I think it does go higher. So I'm very bullish on this name. I have it in a long-term account. You see it coming out of this massive base right here. I'm just not sure that's a good enough stop loss to keep you in the trade for the macro move. That's the only thing I worry about.
Yeah. Even for me, like I'm looking at it, if he was in it, you know, buying up through 84 with us and maybe looking to add there, I can see it. But like if this is like his first time kind of getting in and hasn't caught that prior move, he's probably a little late to it.
It's just a difficult name. If I was trading this name in my active account, I'd be pulling my hair out because you can see the daily action, how choppy it is. So to think that you can just buy 101 and have that 98 stop and you won't get stopped out and you'll catch the move to 120, 130, you know, it just doesn't seem like probabilities on your side, just looking at this daily chart.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm in the camp of having a nice position in this name, but being able to afford to give it some really big room, like, you know, 15% or so down to this 80 because I want to make 50% to the upside. So, you know, the numbers still work out in that way. Just I'm wary of keeping this one too tight.
Yeah. Next, we got American Express. He's looking to buy up through 96 versus 92.
Oh, okay. I like this. All these support buys, you know, we saw such massive support hold in the SPY today. So most support buys are probably looking like decent setups for tomorrow. So this one's a perfect example. We see this previous resistance area now acting as new support. And if it wants to turn up to that 96 area, sure, that makes sense.
Yeah. This is even one like I was buying, you know, in this little wedge, you know, back in March, April, and even into May, and kicking into this 100, 110 level. And now I'm looking to kind of nibble back in. And I had, you know, last week a buy stop up through 100. And as it kept pulling down, I kept just dropping it, you know, to 99, 98, 97. So I'm with him, like pulling this buy stop down until it does turn. So I'm definitely with him on that American Express. Next, let's see. He's looking at this NBIX through one. He wants to buy through highs, through that like 130.
Yeah, nice little macro level he's looking at. I see it. This little 128 area is like the macro level. But we see with the failure today that it just needs more time to consolidate and build out this pattern. Let it go sideways for a couple weeks, and that's a beautiful setup.
And then lastly is this PGR through 80.
Oh, is that setting up yet?
It's like the macro level is 84, but that's kind of...
Yeah, I know the macro level really well. I'm waiting on this thing. I don't think this 80 is ready yet, personally. I love this macro chart. So I'm waiting on this one as well. But I'm not so sure about this 80 area. They got earnings coming up July 16th, and it's a few weeks away. Still, for a macro name, I think you just wait on this one.
Next, we got Nicholas looking at ESPR through that 48.5 area.
So interesting resistance area. Yeah, I kind of like this actually. You know, nice little base. It's worked off that the down move pretty well. You know, since earnings, it's just been consolidated on the pattern. Let me take a look at the weekly.
And you zoom out, that like 50 has been pretty big too.
Yeah. I drew the little line. I like it. It's a nice little level. Crazy sick fuck name. You know, I love those. So I'm with it.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna jump into some of the social media questions. We're gonna start with Man V750, and he asks, "What is your edge?"
My edge personally. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. Oh, so I mean, my edge is definitely a mix of technical and fundamentals. Whereas I always want to be chasing after the strongest names, the strongest sectors, the most aggressive growth names, and I'm gonna mix day trading and swing trade. to I'm gonna read tape and I'm gonna just trade very simply for the macro, but then I'll get a little cheeky for the micro, based off my day trading talents. What about you, Bennett? What's your edge?
I think that the two main ones. One is, again, we talk about being very simple. Again, buying on the way up, upping, sell stops, trailing the winners, and then more importantly, given the fact that I talk with a lot of new traders and hear the things they're looking to do, it's avoiding a lot of the horrible investment ideas, because you hear the same one over and over and over for an extended period of time. So there's just certain names where it's like, I won't touch this name for 6 months because the last 9 people have been trying to force me into buying AAL. When you and me, we both walk through LAX. I walk through the airports in New Jersey and Arizona in 5 minutes, when a year ago it would take an hour to get through. So those are those things where it's like, when you talk to enough people, you can hear what they want to do, and they all have the same idea. It's usually a bad one. So I think those two, just keeping it simple, and then keep my ear to the streets.
Well, AAL is about to bounce though. Damn. Nice little support buy right here. $13.50 versus $12.
Yeah, but that's like the carnival.
This is your chance. Yeah.
I'm good. You guys.
Oh, see, Carnival Corp. They're setting up too. Nice little fucking just buy that one, get 15.
Yes. Okay.
Damn,
you buy Royal Caribbean through 50. I'll buy AAL through 14.
I'm all set. I just bought XLNX a couple hours ago, and now it's up fucking 20% in like an hour. So I'm gonna stick with those type names.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that one as well. Let's see. Okay, next we got Daisy, one of our lady alphas. She asked, when it comes to scanning charts, do you sort the highest percentage first, or the biggest decrease or biggest loser first?
No, biggest increase. You do the biggest winners first, and then it's so easy to find all the relative strength. You see all utility names setting up. You know that's where the strength is. For example. But yeah, very simple. That's like a little cheat code we learned a couple years in. You sort by the highest percentage gainer, and then the relative strength is all staring at you.
100%. Just don't chase the one that's up 20% or 100% on the day.
Right,
that one you already missed, but you get the idea. All right, next we got Curly Head Cole, which is who won our giveaway for this week. He was the one who called out our trade of the week last week along with us. He's looking at AGIO through 54.
This is trade of the week right here. I love this chart. It's one of these crazy pharmaceutical names. All these names have been going lately. We saw like the Biomarins are finally taking out that macro resistance. The ABC we just talked about. So I got my eye on this AGIO right here, Agios. I think it looks really good through 54. Just a nice macro pattern. Names trying to change composer since their last earnings. The problem is right now, if you buy 54, you got to give it to 50 at this moment. So I'm just hoping it gets a little tighter under this resistance level. But I do like this name a lot. This is trade of the week.
Yeah, somehow he keeps finding all of our trade of the weeks beforehand. Little sneaky guy.
Who's this?
This is Curly Head Cole. He's the one who was the winner before.
He's done. He's smoked.
He's just sneaking in all of our ideas. All right, next we got Man Coolio. This is a question more for you, Shake. He says, what do you find more useful, the 7 SMA or the 5 SMA, or what do you use, for a smaller time frame?
So the small time frames are like, it's what you prefer. So I don't see a difference personally on a chart. I use the 8-day. But it's like not a big deal. So the 5 is 1 week, and then the 8-day is what we always used at the firm. I don't even know why we use the 8 and 21. But moving averages are only important because a lot of people use them, and then they're recognized. That's really the only reason it is. So 5, 7, 8 really doesn't matter for that short one, because they're all going to look pretty similar. Whether 5-day average prices versus 7-day average prices. So I use the 8 and 21 as my short-term ones, but don't think it's a big deal.
All right. And last up, we got Jake Lundstrom, TXG88. He's looking to buy 10X Genomics.
10X Genomics is my favorite name in the market. 10X Genomics. What's he want, 88?
88, yeah.
This is just kind of... I don't like it. It's not a well-built out pattern enough, and this little support isn't strong enough for me to say that that's really well defined for a move up towards 88. Maybe if it goes sideways a little bit, then. But this one looks like it's kind of just like running out of steam.
Yeah, it looks like this could even come back to 72 and be completely fine. Like it'd be regular day for a team like this.
Agree.
All right, so we wrapped up social media questions. If you want, we'll jump into some of the good trade, bad trade. If you want to start with Bobby Moore, I sent over some of the charts. We'll start with CME.
CME? Oh, he shorted this with me, or is he buying?
No, he bought. He bought up support buy.
This is a short on the shakedown last week.
Yeah, well, I think he took it before it broke.
No, I know. I'm not calling him out. I'm just saying. Shit, fuck. And this is it. This is how it's going to work. These are support buys right here. Either it's going to work out or you're going to get stopped out and it ends up being a short. It's an inflection point. So, I don't think he took a bad trade here. I liked it as a support buy too when he bought it with the reversal. But, it's just, not every trade's going to work out. We play the probability game. So I think this is a fine loser. Didn't work out. Oh, did he get out break even? Stopped out? Oh, so he didn't even lose money.
Yeah. But yeah, lost a little bit. Less than a point on a $180 stock. I think that's a decent trade.
It's HCAT is next.
Yeah.
So he entered 29.5, dollar stop. Oh, and he kicked all of this into 33, 31. No, kicked into 31, 31.50, and then 33.50. And he stopped out the rest right there. That's a great trade. Love that. Love it. I'm still in this HCAT, but
and then he had
like your trade.
I think he had,
a little Pinterest.
Yeah, I think.
Nice.
Oh, that was actually Chatty. Adam Chatty was in pins.
Yeah, so we went through HCAT, we went through CMA. I'm on Chatty. What up, Chatty? How's it going? Hope dad life is going well. So we bought the little inside day after the gap up like that. Shorter term in at 21.50. Intraday on the 17th. Kicked 24.25 on 23rd. After rejected 25 the previous day. Stopped out the rest at 23.49. That's a sick trade. I've traded for. He's comfortable watching intraday. Took profit near the high of the day. Good shit, Chatty. That's a good trade. So and he did especially well in the trade because he's traded the name before and he saw that failure at 25 the prior day. So he was much more, because he had that information, he was part ways with the stock much more easily mentally because he knew the name well. So great job on that one. Where we at? Roku. Oh, fuck this Roku. I had this exact trade in Roku Friday. It was such a bitch. It triggered so nicely. Just flagged in front of 125. The inside day, really tight inside day. What we liked about Roku was that it blasted up off support and then kind of a controlled pullback into halfway the 50% retracement inside day, and then we're looking to get long through the high of that inside day. It set up intraday through 125 at the level, and then market weakness Friday took this one down, so it got us out in a few hours. So it looked super promising off the open and then just ripped our hearts out throughout the day. That's trading, folks. And here's the TER trade. He bought through 65, added 66. Okay, see the level looks nice. Kicked something to 79. Damn, and stopped out at 74.69. And he's still holding a tenth of his original position for 28%. So we were talking about the lessons before. Always hold a runner because you never know what a name's going to do, and that's something he did really well here in this TER.
So, Shake, if you can with TER, pull up like your own daily chart and just zoom out because this was a name we've been kind of like not picking on him, but we're like, you have to hold some for that retest.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
So if you zoom out, you can see like that retest was 81 or 81 half, and it kind of blew right through it.
Wow, that's so funny.
So now,
because you always say this shit, and I'm like, he's got to, if you have it 20% from now, you got to hold it. But I mean, this one did exactly that.
But now what he's got left, it's like he just drops a 79.89 stop or 79.99, and it's already above that retest, and everything above this is just even, it's even better. And this is where those 50%, 100%, 150% trades come from when you have a little bit left. You kicked enough into that first move when you weren't as patient, but you hold the last little bit you have for as much as you can get. And I feel like this could be, maybe Chatty's first 100% swing with us.
Oh, yeah.
All right. What are we on to next? Oh, we got Natalie, another one of our Lady Alphas.
Natalia, bro. Natalia.
Keep correcting me. All right, so we want to go over the NTA?
Yeah, so she was in this MNTA. Nice. I was in this one too. Oh, and I literally got stopped out the same spot. Oh, no, I bought it the first day, but still, I got stopped out the same spot. It's always a good time. So it's MNTA, 15-year monthly base. I'll get the chart up. Crazy chart. Crazy chart. So this high was first made in 2005. And then what it did the past few weeks is a monthly chart. Each one of these is a month. And we go to the daily chart, it sets up this amazing flag right in front of the level. So whenever we can put a longer time frame with a shorter time frame and they match up perfectly, that's always a great setup. So this MNTA, I was in it this day. Let's see what she did. Who cares what I did? All right, so massive monthly base at 35. So it makes that initial move. It pulls in and reverses, and that's when she gets long. I like that a lot. She bought on the way up. She waited for it to pivot, put in new support, and then she got stopped out, break even. But I like the initial entry where she waited for that pivot and then bought on the way up and then had that new stop area versus instead of just buying on the way down, kind of hopeless. So, should I have sold on Friday since it closed? So the question she's asking is, should she have sold on Friday since it closed close to her stop and avoid the weekend risk? That's like a personal thing. In those situations, I'll usually take off half type thing just so I'm comfortable over the weekend. But again, that's personal. I don't love holding a ton of weekend risk, but like Bennett, you don't give a fuck. So it's like it's all personal type thing.
That's like if it's like she mentioned, she was a closer break-even stop. It's like if you're close to your break-even stop, the name's closing, down for the day or red, or the entire market's been selling off that day. It's like that's an example. It's like more than likely you're probably going to get stopped out.
Right.
So it's like, you probably just take it off. But now if the name closed, bullish engulfing high of the day, it's like, no, hold that thing because it's more than likely going to continue the trend that it had, that previous day. So but like you said,
Everything in context, yeah.
All right, so I think that wraps up the member Good Trade Bad Trades. Shake, if you want to go over maybe some of yours.
Yeah, of course. I got a bunch to go over. We'll, oh man. I'm not a huge revenge trader.
Really? You sure?
So this FT&T last week, fucking brutal. All right, so do you see the day it ignited, June 22nd? Mm-hmm. And then the next day it just gave it all back. So I ended up taking a loss in the name. So you know what the fuck I did today off the open?
You shorted it?
I shorted the fucking shit out of this thing. It was so great. It was just a scalp. I was not like super bearish off the open. I was just anticipating a down move with that gap up. And you can see these daily previous lows right here. And then I shorted the break of those lows. And I just covered down here, 130, 128. I had a pretty similar setup in the Skyworks where it's like, I think these names are macro uptrends. So I'm not super bearish on them. But, just for the morning, if I think the market's going to pull in, I think it'll take out that support. So I did the same thing here. I just short through the level, and I cover into some weakness. These aren't super macro trades for me, so I'm not trying to hold on to stock. What else we got? AMD. Finally out of this AMD. Jesus Christ. We bought it here this initial day. I didn't take off enough. I took off a third into this up move. If I could go back, I probably would have taken off 2/3. Obviously, that's talking after a loser, but I just had a little too much hope with this name, I feel like, because I had a great entry. So I wanted to, crush it as much as possible. But I got stopped out here for most of my stock, and then finally the rest for under 52. And then how can I not talk about the boy today? Fucking XLNX. Oh my God. This never happens. This never fucking happens. XLNX. We buy it today. Just buying some little support buy. Big shouts to Heaven calling this one out. We like this flag up here, so it has a controlled pull in. We still like it. We're just buying against the support level. And then sometimes, Bennett, you know who gets lucky in life?
Who?
The people who put themselves in a position to get lucky. They come out, they pre-announce their earnings after hours. I took 2/3 of my stock off for like 8-1 or something like that. I had a really heavy position, so it was like absolute gift. And it just never fucking happens like this. So very, very happy with this one. Whew, looks like that shit's going higher. It's just taking 99. Okay, all right, that's all I got. I'm fucking having a seizure over here. What do you got?
All right, so if you want to start, you pull up INOS.
Yeah, Ions.
Ions. So again, that was trade of the week. I think it was both of ours. I think we both were looking at it.
Yeah, we both liked it, yeah.
We both liked the 360. Triggered first day. This was kind of one where everyone in the chat was talking about it, and it was kind of that old rule when everyone wants to get it, it's probably not going to go. So I wasn't too surprised that it hasn't anything crazy just yet, just because everyone was able to get into it so easily. Still have to stop 58. Really haven't had the chance to kind of move it up to break even because it's it's been basically just floating there for the last couple of days. So it's kind of just a trade that's kind of in limbo. Wouldn't be too surprised if it does get stopped out, but we'll see where that goes. Next, we got Verizon. Verizon, again, sport buyback. Buying up
That's awesome.
Yeah, buying up their 54 versus 53, so $1 risk. Again, in these lower beta names like the Verizon's, complete opposite of the ESPRs or the XLRNs. When you're trying to get 5-1 a name like Verizon, you got to be really buying these names off support. It's hard to buy Verizon through 58 and expect to catch it perfectly because it's just a lower beta name. So this name it bought up to 54, $1 risk. If it gets back into 58, for me that'd be 4-1, but I still wouldn't be looking to kick because this name could still grind back, to the highs of this year and has a much bigger macro level through 61. So just trying to sneak in, similar to what we did with GD a few months ago. And then lastly, we're going to talk about ELF. And again, this is a name that I've been in for a little bit. We talked about kind of the bad trades about it. And now that it's getting back towards 20, which would be, kind of 4 times the charm, this tends to be the time where when a newer trader, when you buy a stock, it doesn't work, it goes against you. And as it starts to get back to your price, and you've been with it long enough, you're trying to get rid of it. You're like, I'm done with this name. I get out break even or for a small profit. I'm ready to move on. But that's usually the time when the stock's actually ready to break out and go higher. And this is usually the time where Shake or like myself or people from Shakes will try to sneak into that breakout. Now for me, since I've been in it for so long, I'm not going to look to buy 20. But as it goes through 20, I'm going to have to hold it and look to sell, into the 30s. I can't look to sell it in this 20 because I've been in it, for some time. So this is just kind of a lesson that we talked about in prior chart talks, and as it's kind of worked itself back up near those highs, similar with, you and me both been in stat for a bit, kind of similar story as it works back those major resistance levels. So those are my, yep.
All right, good shit.
Yep, and then we can jump into, if you want, top idea for the week.
I'll start with you as I clicked them up. Ulta? You like this Ulta, huh?
Yeah, a little sneaky one. I feel like we haven't.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, so Ulta's one.
Nice little support buy.
Yeah, a couple little sneaky ones. HCA, again, this is a name we reviewed a few chart talks back. We're buying up the resistance now. Again, a little sneaky support buyback, a few inside days. VMW, another name, kind of just flagging near a resistance level.
Nice.
And then this REYN, this was, I believe, either you called it out or one of the guys in Alpha through 35.
Someone called it out today. I wrote that down. This looks awesome.
Yeah, so those are the few that I'm keeping a close eye on for the week ahead.
Nice.
What about you?
So this fucking light, dude. We cannot miss light. We cannot miss light. We've been watching this pattern develop for 5 weeks, maybe. I've been in it a bunch of times. It looks like it's setting up perfectly through 79. It stinks because you probably got to buy 79 and like only give it a 75. I can't give this name down to the true support at 71. I can't give 10% over 10% risk there. So I'm gonna try to sneak in through this one at 79. I think this is just gonna be this is gonna rip through this pattern and be back at highs very shortly. We mentioned that Agio, 54. This Costco, really nice. I was looking at this one. I was thinking, maybe this is a potential short coming into the week, the way it was kind of failing the support area with Friday's action. But as we can see today, it wants to hold the support. And this could be a nice long entry right here. This GBT has been giving us fits through the 68. I think it looks really good. This is a really high beta name too. And our buddy Oracle. Oracle looking really good. We hopped in this one today over the last 54, 50, 55 area against these lows, coming out of a nice little macro pattern. Slower mover, but looks good to park your money there for now. And that's all I got for you.
I think we're gonna have to do the Oracle. Who's gonna be the one who holds it to 60? The retest.
Are you in it?
Yeah, of course. We've been in Oracle for months now.
Oh, okay.
Paint dryer.
Well, I got in an hour and a half ago, so.
So you're fresh. You're fresh.
Yeah. So now it's ready. Now you fucking bullshitted all that time.
All right. I think with that, we'll jump into book of the week.
Oh, let's go. All right. Book of the week time.
All right.
All right, Bennett. Book of the week. What do you got for me back there?
Oh, where I put it. Oh, here it is. Hold on. I'm still on this 5-hour work, 5-hour club.
Yeah, 5 a.m. club.
5 a.m. club. So like the whole book leads up to this 20-20-20 principle, which is how you start like the first hour of your day. And the whole book, they kind of just keep teasing at it. And I finally got to the little, info of it. So it breaks down very simply. The 20-20 formula is how you break down the first hour of your day. So when you initially wake up, the first thing is to immediately start working out to get a sweat going. That's like the first 20% of that hour. The second 20 is to plan, meditate, and then lastly is to review and read, things like that. So they're the things that we both kind of do. Like you have to wake up super early just because of the time difference in Denver for the market opening. I usually get up around 6 and start to read anyways. So it's things that I think both of us kind of do. We don't wake up at 5. I mean, I'm not waking up at 5. You might wake up at 5. But the things that we kind of do, but I think now it's able to kind of make it a little more concrete after going through this book.
Have you ever read the book Miracle Morning?
No.
Oh, very similar book. Our buddy Jan recommended it to me. Very similar book. It's pretty much the same principles. Very good though.
Because I don't have to read it then.
Yeah. No, seems like you got the gist. So this one is I haven't read this in like 2 years. It's called Good to Great by Jim Collins. It's about how companies make the transition from being good companies to great companies. And it goes through, and it's not talking about like the tech companies with the crazy valuations. It's talking about like the Krogers, the Circuit Cities of the world, the Walmarts, like how they actually grew their sales. And they talk about different leadership goals and things like that you go through. I haven't read this in 2 years, to be honest, but I'm trying to go back into all my favorite books that I've read over the past 2, 3, 4 years and reread them because I just found myself reading some bullshit. So I'm just going back to the classics. And this one, I remember this one just resonated with me really well. So good to great, Jim Collins.
Nice. All right, I think we wrap it up.
All right, wrap that baby up.
Yeah, good luck.
Peace.
Happy trading. See you next week.